guys, Sean back with another video, whatever you want to call my name, because don't call it whatever I don't want you to. Man, don't know why YouTubers always say that. No, cancel, bro. Playing Fortnite. It's something like Fortnite anyways. That's what my friends always be like, and I'm like, no, God help me. There's gonna be an ad channel, I swear to God. Yes, yes. God, that's so annoying. They're gonna... I already know how to play your game. What did he do? Kill? No, guys, we're reacting to a video. We reacting. My coffee, oh my girl made me so nice. You can't see me properly. You got a boyfriend, I bet he doesn't.
History of Russia like you've never heard it before.
I like this guy so much.
History of Russia like you've never heard it before.
Like
Mr. Banana wants to know what you think about when you hear the word Russia. Do you think of a bear with a bottle of vodka and a balalaika in his paw? Or maybe you think about President Putin and the Red Square in Moscow. Let's have a look at the history of the biggest country in the world. It started back in the 3rd millennium BC. The ancient people moved from Eastern Europe to Western Siberia. Prehistoric Russians preferred warm places like Crimea or Caucasus. Who wouldn't? Do you think that Russians like the cold? The Slavs, this is what these people called themselves, formed the ancient Russian state about the 5th century. Such old cities as Kiev and Novgorod were founded back then, beautiful and with a rich history. When in Russia, don't miss a chance to visit them. Anyway, the Rurik dynasty was founded in Novgorod and began its reign in the 9th century. It's also the time of the creation of the Russian Cyrillic alphabet by two brothers, Kirill and Methodius, who were Christian missionaries. Yeah, it's exactly the strange symbols you see in Russian cuisine menus. In 882, the Prince of Novgorod, Oleg, conquered Kiev. After that, Kiev became the capital of the ancient Russian state, and it was time to change the name of the state to the Kievan Rus. Kievan Rus was a powerful nation and it traded with the Byzantine Empire. The Russians exported slaves, honey, and furs. Prince Oleg started his campaign to Constantinople in the 10th century. Russia and Byzantium made a peace pact between each other. When the Russians came to the city, they did not pay duties. Byzantine didn't like that, so after Oleg's death, they annulled the pact and the war began. Sad. War is never good. Prince Igor, a successor of Oleg, ended the war. Russia and Byzantium made a new pact which was profitable for both countries. But Igor was murdered by ancient Ukrainians. From that time forward, his grandchildren fought for the reign. Meanwhile, in 988, Prince Vladimir converted to Greek Orthodox Christianity. His people followed. The 11th century was pretty ordinary, with no wars, famine, or mass massacres. Some cathedrals were built, some minor conflicts happened, blood relatives continued fighting for the reign. Everything was like in other civilized countries. By the way, in 1147, Moscow City was mentioned for the first time in historic letters. It's the place where Red Square is. The 13th century was very intense. Genghis Khan was the founder and first great Khan of the Mongol Empire that conquered Russia. In 1237, Batu Khan, the grandson of Genghis Khan, invaded Russia. He captured and destroyed Ryazan and Moscow, then Vladimir. Russia was occupied for a very long time. Russian princes could reign, but they rendered tribute to the Mongols. In 1242, Batu established himself as ruler of a large part of Eastern Europe, including Russia. His realm was called the Khanate of the Golden Horde. Its capital was Sarai. This period of Russian history was called the Mongol invasion of Rus and lasted until 1480. Eventually, the Tatars withdrew and gave up all claim to tribute. In 1480, Ivan III freed Russia from the Mongols. Yay! One of the famous princes of that time was Alexander Nevsky. He brought Russia military victories over the Germans.
But I don't care.
In 1240, he defeated the Swedes in the Neva, and in 1242, he crushed the Teutonic Knights in the Battle of the Ice. The battle took place on thin ice. Many Teutons drowned because of the weight of the heavy armor. Medieval Germans should wear swimming trunks. In 1389, Moscow became the capital of Russia. Finally, in the 15th century, Prince Ivan III freed Russian land from the Mongols. He started building the Kremlin in Moscow. It was finished in 1495. The Kremlin in Russia, it's like the White House
How
in
do you
the
make
U.S.,
this bigger
but not
again?
really. In 1517, the Supreme Council was formed. It consisted of boyars. It's Russian feudal aristocracy. They love to wear long beards. In the 16th century, Ivan IV governed the country. He was the first monarch of Russia. People called him Ivan the Terrible. He started a lot of wars. He conquered Kazan, Astrakhan, Polotsk, and extended his kingdom. But he was defeated in the Livonian War. It lasted for 25 years. Old Livonia is the present land of Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Belarus. Ivan the Terrible also sent Ermak to explore Siberia. He wanted to join the Cold Land with Russia. It's where all the frost really is. In 1584, Ivan IV died. In 14 years, his son also died. It was the breakdown of the Rurik dynasty. Boris Godunov was a brother of Ivan's wife. Boris inherited the throne of the monarch. But Boris died pretty soon. Maybe he was poisoned. After his death, lots of liars pretended
never
to be
saw
Boris'
what I
descendants.
looked like
It was a
even.
difficult time for Russia. That's why during the assembly, Mikhail Romanov was chosen to be a new Russian monarch in 1613. Yes, it's time for the Romanov dynasty. The Romanov dynasty begins when Mikhail Romanov was elected.
Oh yeah,
king.
I need to
The
show you
Romanov
something before
dynasty will rule until 1917.
keep starting the video. Oh guys, be mad, but seconds and I'll be back. Kids, I swear to God. Oh guys, I'm not gonna let that knock off. No, you're not allowed to see it. Every day we're gonna show a toy because I just buy these for some reason. For the show the video, we have Raptor. Pretty good looking, isn't he, Raptor? Yeah. Season 7. Can't wait till season 8 comes. It's only like 10 days till season 8 comes. Hope you're all looking forward to that.
Remember those guys with beards? Mikhail was from the Boyars. He ruled for 32 years. His son started a very long war with Poland. Ukrainian people didn't want to be part of Poland anymore, and a Ukrainian commander named Bogdan took Ukrainian land back to Russia. In 1648, Seaman Desnyov led a Russian expedition and became the first man to discover Alaska. Back to politics. In 1682, the most famous, ambitious, progressive monarch Peter inherited the throne at the age of 10. He traveled a lot. Guys from Holland taught him shipbuilding. So Peter created the Russian fleet. By the way, Peter
What
was
does
a
that
fan of
mean?
all
Is that who I
European
know?
things. Etiquette, culture, technologies. He taught the Russian boyars to cut off their beards. Oh no, it'd be tough to be a hipster in Russia. Peter also refused to marry a Russian wife. He married a European woman, Catherine. Peter started a war with Sweden. It lasted for 21 years. Peter had success. After that war, he was called Peter the Great, and Russia became an empire. Using X-Land of Sweden, he founded one of the most beautiful cities in the world. He called it St. Petersburg. This city was built on a swamp. Wait a minute, how could that be possible? Well, Russians didn't look for the easy way. St. Petersburg became the capital of Russia instead of Moscow. Peter the Great was concerned about education, so he founded the Academy of Science. He established Russia as a world power, introducing reforms and creating a standing army, so he could save money on chairs. In 1725, Peter died.
Don't guys, I drank it all for you.
The throne was inherited by different monarchs from the Romanov dynasty. But Elizabeth, the daughter of Peter the Great, was one of the brightest. She developed the educational system like her father. She established more schools, academies, and universities. Elizabeth was the founder of the first theater in Russia. She also invited Italians and other European architects to make the city more beautiful and more European-like. One of them was Francesco Rascarelli. He created the famous Hermitage. If you remember, the Hermitage is a home for many pieces of art, as his brother Louvre in Paris. Elizabeth governed for 20 years
guys, I
and
live
died in
in Rome.
1761. Peter the Great's
No,
grandson,
it's not
Peter
that.
III, inherited the country, but he governed it just about 1 year. Tsar Peter III was assassinated and his wife
My whole room's
She
mine,
ruled
so.
for 34 years in what will be called the Golden Age of the Russian Empire. Despite the fact that she wasn't Russian by birth, Catherine made a lot of good things for the country. She learned the language and adopted the Orthodoxy. She ruled from 1762 to 1796. The Catherinian era is considered to be the golden age of Russia. Catherine continued to modernize Russia along Western European lines. She established the first
Make me, huh?
state-financed
Make
higher
me.
education for women in Europe. Wow,
Make
the
me,
first in
make me.
Europe. It was called the Smolny
Make me.
Institute. After Catherine's death, her son Paul inherited the throne, but he was murdered, and the throne was inherited by Paul's son Alexander I. He was remembered for defeating Napoleon. Actually, Napoleon hoped to conquer the country pretty easily. Could get free apartments. In the 90s, oligarchs
Guys, sorry for skipping that.
many criminal bands appeared. But in 2000, Vladimir Putin became the president of the Russian Federation. The chaos of the 90s was gone. Criminal bans disappeared. Free medicine and education renewed. Years of stability came to Russia.
Oh, no,
Russia
no.
is still the biggest country in the world, and we hope Russia is no longer a riddle for you. Write down in the comments what country you want to learn about next time. Subscribe to our channel to find out more about world history.
I need to clean up this or it's gonna make it a bit weird. So I'm gonna react to this video watching me. Yeah, well here. Well guys, I'm ending the video. Boy, check that out for yourself.